fear it will be very echoey, but we'll see. I think it's live. I don't know. How do I get the link to this? I have no idea. Okay, here we go. Open. Okay, this is the link to the stream if you want to watch. I don't know if I can stream in both Discord and YouTube. I don't know if that's a good idea. Let's see. Oh, that's me. That seems to be fine. Okay, so I suppose we can get started, and I'll probably go over the main basics a couple times as new people join, if new people join, but cool. So to start off, I'm going to talk about the previous active effects, right? So this is just a blank world. And if I have some sort of item, let me do a talent, I guess. I make this talent effect. And by default, right, if I add this to an actor, it creates this passive effect. Now, the crucial part is this effect is not the same as this effect. They are duplicated. This was just a limitation of Foundry's database, and in V11 it no longer does this. But the real annoying aspect was, you know, this isn't editable. It's impossible to change. And now it's entirely different. So as well as we have this sort of effect type, which is basically the trigger for the script to run. And effect application, these meanings were sort of nebulous, and like, what does type an application mean? I think that's a bit clearer now with the new system, but y'all can be the judge of that, I suppose. And so yeah, if we have a spell, for instance here, spell, if I create an effect here, so a talent would add their effect here, but a spell, if you add it, it doesn't. The system made that choice because, well, spells don't add effects to the owning actor. They add effects based on something else, like after you cast it, apply it to whoever you attacked or whatever. And so this was like unique to spells and prayers, while, you know, talents, they add it to the actor, but, you know, maybe you don't want that. The new system is entirely consistent across all items. You can, if you want, add a spell that adds an effect to an actor just for owning the spell for whatever reason you want. So let's get into that. This is the new system, and again, it's very early. There's probably going to be bugs, but I'll see if I can fix them on the spot here or not. We'll see. But let me just clear chat here. Okay, so how do I start out here? So if we have a talent, I'm just going to start out the same way. Create a new effect. Now, there's a bunch more stuff here. Oh, something I forgot to mention actually. Let me go back here. Talents. So if we go back to the details, we can see transfer effect to the actor. That's checked. If we don't check that, whenever we add the talents, well, let me delete both talents here. You know, effect is gone. If we add the talent here, it's not going to do that anymore. In this, I've removed transfer effect to the actor because that is sort of determined by all of these settings. So, for instance, a normal effect, like a talent effect that should just apply to the owning actor, is going to be a document application and an actor type. And that just results in the talent. It adds just its effect to the actor like normal, but it is the same effect as this. These are the same objects, this effect and this talent. And you can even go to the talent itself from this button here. But that's not that interesting, that's just normal effects. But what's also very important is scripts. The script itself has changed. So this screen is how effects move around. And this is what the effects do. So I have a talent script here, it's empty, but I can add more scripts, and each of these scripts have, this is where you look at the triggers. I'll get into this in a bit, but let me go over more of the application stuff here. So, for instance, if I have a sword, so this bastard sword, right, I have a bastard sword effect. So this is document, actor, this is just, okay, well, first of all, the bastard sword adds +10 to the dialogue. So this applies to the actor, and so you can see it applies everywhere. No matter what skill I use, it shows up. But if I change that to damage, actually I'm going to change it to target. So now it doesn't apply to me, but once I roll, I can now apply it to whoever I want. If I change it to area, I have a radius of let's do 10 feet. I do it now. Now it's an area, and it just applies to everyone in this area. So if I go here, and auras as well. This one is a bit complicated. Hopefully it works, but aura 10, yeah. Okay, cool. Now if I go, actually let me delete the effect he already has. If I go close, well, I also have distracting on, which is also an aura. So surprise, distracting is now automated, so that's pretty cool. Cool, so that is sort of effect application. So another instance of this, one I skipped over was damage. This one's kind of weird, because if I want the item to apply damage, so now this will apply the effect once I do damage with the item. Let me edit this, do that. So now applies it then. And other basically does nothing, and you can sort of do whatever you want with it, but probably other scripts might add the effect. It's sort of open to whatever maybe modules or whatnot might want to do with it. So, so this effect type is, I sort of glossed over this, I think. So if I target, instead of actor, I can target items. So let's see if this works. When you target items, it's probably useful to add the prompt option, because that will prompt you for what item you want to target. So if I apply this now, oh wait, no. Oh wait, I didn't actually save it. Let me get rid of those effects. Okay, I apply it now. Okay, well, maybe not. I think I might have something misconfigured here. Yeah, as I mentioned before, it is more complicated. So if I use Flaming Sword of Ruin, I know, yeah, target item. I believe this works. So if I do this here, if I apply this, yeah, so it now lets me choose, okay, I want to apply it to this one, and now hand weapon, now it has impact. Well, it doesn't because they don't have the skill, but so that's what prompt does, is what? It's not even clicked. Well, okay, there might be a bug here, I don't know, but it should, but yeah, but that's the idea behind prompt is, okay, now it's good. There's something weird going on with sheets not updating. Like, I can't, if I click one of these checkboxes, they don't actually change, and it's a bug I need to figure out. So I think there's something weird going on there. But yeah, that's what prompt does, is, so I want to choose a weapon to apply this spell to. And, well, how does it know to only apply to weapons? Well, that's where the filter script comes in. This is only weapon types should be in the dialogue choice. So, that's sort of the idea of item. You can even do this to, like, area. Every item in this area. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure, but okay, so if I make Flaming Sword an area of effect, willpower, yards, duration, AoE, let's change that. Radius of 10. Sure. But I don't want to prompt. Okay, that's good. That's good. So it's back to this. Okay, let's see if that works. So if I put this here, let me get rid of this effect already. So if I have both a hand weapon and a dagger now, and I step into this, now both of these are under the Flaming Sword effect, because I didn't choose a specific item, I just apply it to all items. That's the difference between prompt and no prompt. I've talked a lot about how effects are applied. This whole menu is just basically how this effect moves around, who it should apply to, or what document it should apply to. Whether it's this actor, a different actor does damage to, etc. Now let's, I guess, talk more about these scripts. There's a lot you can do with these scripts, especially the new dialogue. Previously it was called pre-filled dialogue. It's no longer called that, it's just called dialogue, and it's probably the most powerful script trigger you can use, right? So, as you've probably sort of seen in the dialogue, well, okay, for instance, so I have this carouser talent. Charm at parties, gossip at parties, and consume alcohol. So, if I do some sort of a test, there's no dialogue modifiers, but I have plenty of talents. What's up with that? Well, that's because none of these apply to leadership. None of these have any sort of relevance to leadership. And well, if I do charm, now I see this entry. Because it's conditional, charm, you might not be at a party, or you might want to ask your GM if this applies. So, and if it does, you can just click it. Like, that's normal. That's always been the case. But if I do consume alcohol, it's already chosen for you. That's because, well, I assume this is how the talent is intended. Consume alcohol does not have a condition to it. And wizards might be salivating at the mouth here as they realize that, you know, if I cast this spell, it's already applied for you. Instinctive diction, that is. Even perfect pitch, because perfect pitch applies to certain languages. You know, if I do Bretonnian, it's not automatically selected because it doesn't know what's what. But if I select this one, which was mentioned in this, it's automatically selected. Language magic also the same. And it knows that casting a spell is also casting with language magic, so it automatically applies. Let me see here. Okay, any, I guess, questions so far? I don't know if I've been coherent whatsoever, but...
Yeah, been coherent enough for me, so probably good for everyone.
Okay, cool. I was thinking that I could go over some of your specifically active effects collection, and I can probably sort of convert them to use these new effects. So one of the ones I noticed was in this advanced active effect. This is where the dialogue effects gets really cool. So this use case of double damage to trolls when under moonlight, this super specific thing that you know, is very finicky to apply with simple calendar, whatnot. I already made a sort of moon troll killer sword, and it has a dialogue effect. Actually, I can show you sort of the insides of the dialogue effect here. So dialogue effects specifically have these 4 script areas. Well, you know, normal effects just have 1. So dialogue effects have a hide script. That means, you know, they don't show up in the dialogue if this condition is true. They activate automatically if this condition is true. There's submission script, which I'll go over in a second, and just the normal script, which is basically what happens when it's activated. So most of the time it's add to the modifier, add SL, add success bonus, whatever. So I noticed, let me see here. Does this have the effect? Yeah, okay. So what we can do is actually have scripts work together. And so if I have this Moon Troll Killer sword, it has this optional dialogue modifier. And when I click it, nothing actually happens. But it uses the submission script, which the submission script runs whenever the dialogue is submitted and this effect is active. So when this effect is active, it adds options.double damage controls equals true. And this can be whatever name you want. It doesn't matter, because your other script, double damage, checks for opposed to test, attacker test, options, double damage controls, or whatever name you chose right here, and then it adds 1 to the damage multiplier. So if I were to okay, if I attack with this sword and I did not activate the script, sure, whatever, 65 versus 80, 10 damage, cool. But once I activate it, whoops, hold on. I didn't add 60 to the... And I do 65 like the previous one. Calculate damage, now it's 20. So you can also, I mean, you can add more scripts here to be like, okay, if the attacker, you know, if I want to hide this, if like, you know, args.data.target targets at 0 actor species, I don't remember, species does not equal troll. I don't know if that's probably not right, but this is the idea, is if it's not a troll, don't even show the script. And if it is, you don't need to activate it automatically. You can still click on it because there's another condition of the moon or whatever. It's another example here. Let's see. What else do I have? Missing. Yeah, so menacing has these 2 scripts, or actually you can see, so if the skill name is not intimidate, don't even show it because it doesn't matter. You're not going to want it active. If it is intimidate, automatically activate it, so it doesn't need to be manually clicked. And if it is activated, add 1 to the SL bonus and then 1 to the success bonus. And yeah, you can see that here. If I can find intimidate, yeah, there you go. Oh, I have 2 talents, so it adds it twice. So, anything else? So, for instance, let's go over, I guess, the first one in this active effects document. So this is make a weapon harder to use if it's under a certain threshold. Cool. So a lot of these scripts have args.item.id equals this.itemid. Pretty much don't need to do that anymore. So if I, oops, wrong one. Where is, oh, it's in this one. Let me see if, so let's make this bastard sword. Let's do it with this one. Let me remove this script. All right, so what was pre-filled dialogue actor? So if I wanted to make this work, this is a document because it's applying to the actor owning the sword. Equip transfer means it only applies if you have the weapon equipped. Although I don't think that matters in this case because document type is going to be item. And this is useful because it's only going to apply when this item is being used. So, actually need to add the actual script here. Strength requirement. So that's going to be a dialogue. And we can sort of start off with the previous script. Actually, let me just put a notepad. So all we need is basically this. activate if, and we can use this done actor. So let me also describe here. Every script has this argument, or a binding for this, and arguments. So every script is going to have this dot actor, this dot item, this dot script, because each script is its own object, and this dot effect. Y'all can see the notepad, right? It's not just streaming Foundry.
I can see it.
Okay, cool. So this is always going to be active for every single script, and this is the actor that owns the owns the script and that's running it. And if it has an item attached to it, it's going to be this dot item, and this is the script that's running. This is the effect that has the script. So this dot actor characteristics.s value is less than. So we can just return if this is true. And we can hide it as well if it's greater than or equal to 50. And what was the actual prefill modifiers? No modifier. Okay, so you can still use prefill modifiers, but the new sort of property is args.fields, because fields are any sort of form element in the dialogue. So this is a field. These are all fields. The difficulties of field. It's all there. Okay. So args.fields.modifier is equal, but it is backwards compatible with prefill modifiers. Anyway. Okay, I think this is good. Strength requirement. So what's our current strength? It is 29. So if I try to use this, we get this strength requirement bonus. And every field also has these tooltips, so you'll see exactly what is causing this. You can also see what the source effect is from hovering over the modifier.
Question is,
yeah.
Can the user uncheck that when it's checked, or is
it
automatically like forced?
Yeah, you can just unselect it.
Oh, cheeky buggers.
Yeah, right. Previously they showed up here as well. I don't have that implemented yet, but I'll probably add that here, where everything that was included in the dialogue shows up in the chat card as well. So that is this. Adding effect to an item to simulate practical item quality for its skill use. Alright, so this seems to be just if pick lock is being used, then okay, so I'm just going to copy this roll test. So a lot of times you had to filter out what skill is being used. Well, you can now just apply effects to skills themselves. I don't have pick lock here, but I suppose I can add it. So if I just add an effect, it has to be item because it's this skill item that's being used. So roll test. This window is kind of annoying, but I'll probably do something about it later. Okay, so we don't need args.test.item, blah, 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 blah. And this should still work. Okay, we'll see. So pick lock. Oh, it needs to fail, I think. Yeah, so 56 versus 39 should have been -2. Now it's -1 because we added an SL according to practical. And that's another cool thing. Like, if you want to, let's see if this works. Do I have an example already? I don't know. So if I wanted to make a spell that's, you know, well, actually it might be in bolt fire. Yeah, it's called like weaken. So in this script, it changes the modifier, and it's intended for skills. If I decrease a skill by 20, it targets an item and filter item. Let's just remove this port real quick. Just skills. I'll add prompt here. So if I cast the spell, apply it to someone, now I get to choose which skill it applies to. Let's just do melee. Now if we look at their skills, it's going to have a penalty. Now you notice that, let me give some advances here. Not 800. You notice it said -20, but for some reason these add up to 100, but it's still 60. There's a current, I guess, yeah, issue or Foundry. This is in Foundry itself, where items will be running their script twice. So if you're ever applying effects specifically to items, I'll probably have a workaround for this by the time this releases, but if you want -20, you're going to do -10 because it's going to run twice, and it's kind of a pain in the neck, but I'll see if I can find some sort of workaround so you don't have to have whatever you want to do there, which is just a bit silly. But anyway, where was I? So yeah, make a reliable pistol that only fumbles on an odd number. Cool. So I think, let's see, pistol. Let's import that. Reliable. Okay, what we want here is if it's ever at testing for weapon.id equals this.item.id, you don't need that. You can just make this an item effect. We can just copy this. In general, mostly the scripts are backwards compatible, so you can just sort of copy roll weapon test, roll weapon test. You can just sort of copy the old script in. That looks good to me, I think. Let me just rename this reliable. Let me add it to someone. Cool. Okay. No ammo. Oh, and this is, I guess, a cool thing. Deadeye shot. I believe that you can choose the hit location without a penalty. So notice it's not active at this point. But if I choose any hit location, it activates, and you can look at the modifiers. They cancel out. I think that'll work in the long run, but that's sort of the idea currently. Who am I attacking? This guy? Yeah, okay. I want to fumble, so hold on. Let me just roll again here. So what is it? Only fumbles on an odd number roll. So if I do 55, it fumbles. If I do 44, it does not. So that still works. Ignite the opponent when damage is done and the hit roll is even. So, yeah, when item applies damage, not needed anymore. As usual, as I described earlier, this is just going to be an item effect. So item, and instead of dialogue, we can do applies damage. So basically this means when this item applies damage, you can just copy this. Is evens, this should all be fine. This .item.id should still be fine. Actually, no, we don't need this. thing anymore. Cool. Let's see. Roll to attack with it. It is an even roll, and now they're ablaze. Cool. A staff that lowers CN of spells cast by 1. Gee, that sounds familiar. So, Wind of Magic. These, I haven't done any conversion on anything, anything from the official modules except for the stuff here. So, let's see if this just migrates normally. I've added some migrations, others might not work. I haven't tested every single trigger or whatnot, but so Enchanted Staff. Import this. So now we see it has Staff of Lore. Sure. So previously, you know, before adding this item to an actor, well, now that the effects are the same effect on the actor as it is on the item, we don't need to do that anymore. We can add this here and now and just edit it in the actor, which is nice. Actually, it's going to be... Do I have it? Yeah. So... Staff of Fire. And it's not here. That's because, well, you need to equip it. Now it's here. CN2, is that right? Yeah, casting number's 3. Yeah, it all still works. Let's see, robes. Do robes still work? And same sort of deal. You can edit it within the actor now. It has a quick transfer on. This looks fine. Now the script doesn't have the... It just takes the same name as the effect itself. But this script name doesn't matter for the case of robes, because this .effect.name.split is... That's what it's searching for, the effect name, not the script name. So now if I wear this and then cast a spell, oh no, it's channel, right? Or is it elaborate robes plus 3 SL? Is it just channeling? I don't know. Oh, I need the control. It's not here. Is it here? Robes. Oh, okay, both casting and channeling. Cool. And if I don't cast a fire spell, it gives you the minus. Cool. So, add 1 to weapon damage rolls if the attack roll is an even number. Sort of the same deal. Take this. Let's do the bastard sword again. What was it? Roll weapon test actor. And again, don't need to check this. It's evens, yada yada yada. Because it's an item effect. Cool. Now I gotta figure out how to yeah, it's rolling multiple times. I think that's just another bug that I need to sort out, but that's fine. Oh yeah, so any pre-filled dialogue modifiers that do get migrated, they will show up in the dialogue no matter what, because the old system, pre-filled dialogue modifiers always ran because the condition was in the script, the same script that is adding the modifier. So for instance, if I want to go here, So if args.type is channeling, all these if statements should probably be, you know, in here, in here. I'm not gonna actually do it, but and then this script is only for the actual modifications that the script makes once it's activated. Not gonna fix all that, but that's just the idea. So as you can see, well, now it's not gonna work, but when this is activated, when this was activated previously, it didn't do anything. That's because the conditions in the actual script did not actually trigger, so it didn't add anything. But so you'll encounter that with your previous scripts unless you change them. I think I was testing the bastard sword. All right. This is not even, so let me change that to even. And I think that just worked. Yeah, 13 damage from 12 damage. I think I mostly got my point across here. I don't need to go through every single one of them, but another cool thing you can do, I made this little effect called charger. Let me see. So if I add this to, this is another dialogue effect. So what this does is, it's a document, it applies to the actor because it's a talent, that's fine. Charger, it's a dialogue effect. It hides if it's not charging. It activates if it is charging. And if you're charging, add another +10. So what you can do there is pretty self-explanatory. When you're charging, it adds an extra +10. Now you can also get even fancier with it. You can you know, if I want to what would this be? Extra damage. Let's say, let's just do apply damage just for simplicity's sake. I don't have the placeholder helpers here, but let's see. Well, no, we can use the roll weapon test. You know, sort of the same thing. If you're charging, add an additional damage. Oops, I always do that. Let's see, what would it be? args.test dot result dot charging, I think. I don't know, we'll see. Even if that's wrong, this is the general idea, is you know, you can stack scripts into the same effect and have them work off each other. I don't know if this will work. +3 SL. Does that work? I have no idea. Damage calculation is always a mystery to me. Oh, damaging also applies? Well, I don't know, but that's the general idea. Now I gotta figure this out. But any other question? Oh, actually, no, I have 2 chargers already. I think that's why. I guess I already had it on them. What? I don't know, that might be a bug. There's 2 charger talents. It's very strange. Yeah, anyway. Any questions so far? About anything I've gone over?
No, it looks great. I think it's going to make things a a lot easier for people, even though, like you said, in a way a little more complicated. I think in the end, though, it's really actually easier.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, now it seems like not that complicated, but I wasn't from the beginning, so I don't know what I missed.
Well,
more intuitive maybe is.
yeah. So I guess I'll go over a little bit at the beginning here. Previously, when you add a talent and it makes an effect, actually, that's not there anymore. This talent has an effect. Oh, right, I unchecked the transfer to actor. Alright, let me try that a third time. I add this talent. It has its effect. It has... What? Where did it go? Oh. Apply with targeting. I think that's why. I don't know why it was like that. So this effect, which gets transferred to the actor, is different from this effect, which was on the item. These are distinct data objects. They don't share anything. Now, each effect, they're the same data object. Carouser, sorry, that was my phone. This effect is the same as this thing. They're the same data objects. And very, very much more, well, you can edit them, which is a godsend because,
yeah, so it's basically the Foundry V11.
Yeah, exactly. And with these improvements, you can sort of, instead of like previously, if I had let me just silence my phone here. If I wanted to apply an effect to a certain item, right, it would, like a dialogue effect, like plus 10 to use this weapon. Let me remove this. Let me just do return true here. Args.fields.modifier plus equal 10. Previously, you would have to be like, okay, if this.item.id equals args.item.id, because it's checking to see if this item is the one that's making the test. But when you have document type as item, that doesn't actually transfer to the actor, but when you use this item, it will take these scripts into account. As you can see, this bastard sword effect is not in this list, but when I use it, I haven't actually saved it yet. When I use it, I think, yeah, I just did not relabel it. But when I use it, yeah, it's here. But if I change this to actor, you can see it's now in the actor list, and it doesn't care about the item anymore because now it's part of the actor. So any sort of script or any sort of test you do, it's going to have this apply to it. And yeah, this whole screen is basically to what document and when and why, or just when to apply this effect. Like if I want this to be a target effect, now I use Bastard Sword, and I can apply it here. If I want to target, this is currently targeting an actor, I can target an item. Let's see if this works this time, I don't know. So if I target, yeah, I don't know what I'm missing here. Because it should prompt you for an item. but I don't know. I think that's just a bug. Let me just delete all these effects here. That's the idea. You can target an item versus target an actor, or you can target an area.
Prompt's not selected on that one.
What's that?
So if you go back, prompt wasn't selected.
That's fine. I mean, I unchecked it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let me see here. Now you can place this area of effect, and it applies to anyone inside of it. Previously, the you know, this whole screen, it sort of concerned itself with too many things. Like, this is applying with targeting, this is applying with actor, and, you know, spells have their own thing where it's like, or, no, hold on. I thought there was an item entry here. This is a really old build, so it might be before that. But yeah, there's just a bunch of confusing things here, and while it still might be confusing, it should be a little bit more easy to understand once you get the whole paradigm of it.
I'll definitely have some questions.
Yeah, sure.
Like after everything, more specifically about my one.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you can even sort of export one of your items and we can take a look at it and see if it works. I can't promise anything at this stage, but or I can just download the module, maybe. I don't know.
You can do that after the whole presentation if you want.
I mean, I'm pretty much done. It's sort of the main crux of it all. Unless anyone else has questions. Let's see.
I guess the only question is when are you planning on releasing this?
It'll be a while because, as you can probably imagine, it's a monumental task to apply this to everything. Migration should handle a lot of it, but I hope that, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to have to do manually versus how much I'm not going to have to do manually. One of the issues currently is this is the old one. If I take this actor, actually, hell, I could try it. If I take this actor into this world, it's now going to have this talent effect because it owns that talent effect as well as the talent effect from this item. So it's going to have two. So I'll need to find a way to make sure that you migrate and delete or change the old effects, and so they don't duplicate. I don't know. It might be a mess, but I guess we'll see. Because well, so if I sort of illustrate this, maybe. So we have actors.
Yeah. So basically, when people are changing over, the migration doesn't handle the fact that you've got historical actors with
right.
that would no longer be relevant. They're going to get doubles.
Right. You know, items and their effects. So currently in this new system, every effect that is owned by an actor has been applied. So items may or may not be applied. Right, so yeah, because, well, so if I have an item here, you know, this bastard sword, this applies to an area. This should not be applied to the actor. Same thing with basically everything. The only thing that's going to apply to the actor itself is document actor. And so if I have, you know, if I have sort of effect A, whenever this gets applied, it always moves to the second actor's normal effects. If that makes sense. If the effect is owned by the actor directly, you can assume it has been applied and is running on that actor. So I believe previously, like potions, they had effects, but they shouldn't be running. They should wait until you click on them or whatever. But in this case, I haven't actually dealt with potions yet, but the potion is going to be on the item, and then when you use the potion, it goes to the actor, runs, and then probably deletes itself. Oh, that actually reminds me of something I wanted to show off or try to do. So previously, there were some critical effects that weren't. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can do this. So this is annoying. A lot of people had confusion with this. But I don't think we need to do that anymore. So if I go to this and say, all right, what are we doing? Let's add another script. Immediate. This runs immediately when the item is added. So I'm actually going to do this in here because I hate coding in the little text box. Yeah, but it's still a pain. Like sometimes it doesn't. Like if I'm pressing enter right now and it's not doing anything. It's just an annoying bug that I haven't taken the time to deal with. But okay, so we want to ask the user which arm content, choose which arm, whatever, buttons, arm, oh wait, no, hold on, label left arm, yeah, sorry, it's cold and I can't type, left arm, callback, just going to copy this whole thing. Right arm. No. Just return. Right. Actually, what I don't want new dialogue. I want dialogue dot wait, I think, because let choice equals await dialogue dot wait. So this is going to wait for this dialogue to be confirmed or to be submitted, and they choose either right arm or left arm. Cool. Now what I can do is this dot item. Actually, let's do this dot effect. Update source. Find WFRP arm. Choice. And while we're at it, why don't we add name, this dot effect dot name plus well, that's annoying actually, because we don't have the label. Hold on, I'm gonna change this real quick. Key to this, label to right arm. Oh, left. So now we have choice dot label, and then we need choice dot key. Okay, well, first of all, let's just test if this works. So I add this to this actor. Okay, cool. Left arm. It might not have worked. I don't know. I don't see it here. It should be here. Was there any errors? Oh, yes, there was. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this real quick. If I can find it in this giant list of things. Okay, handle immediate scripts. There's an issue here. I'll just add that, see if that works. Refresh. All right, let's see if. Let me remove the bleeding conditions. Okay, it did not add. Oh, actually, no, it adds it to the effect. Image already left arm. So yeah, we do want it on the item. So let me go back to this. Oh, something's going on. Sorry. So yeah, I want to update the item. I believe that should work. I can add the key here as well. That's fine. It's not item.name. Cool. But we know that this effect UI.flags.WFRP4e.arm. It now has a reference to the arm being used. Cool. So I'm gonna just change this effect here. Now, instead of arm location here, we can do simply this.effect.getFlag arm, and that should work, I think. Let me remove this. Yeah, left arm now shows here, left arm shows here. So let's see if that works. I have 8 bleeding conditions. I don't know why that's not showing up on the token, but it might just be a bug. Let me attack again. Was it left arm? I forget what is left arm, so I'm just going to randomly mess around here. There we go. Let's change this to 2. And it adds bleeding now. So users don't really need to have to go into the code anymore. You can prompt whatever you want in immediate effects, because immediate effects happen when the effect or item is created on the actor. And you can then, based on their choice, go in and modify the effect, add data to it, however way you want. But yeah, that was one of the main things I wanted to show you. But I think that's basically it as far as my list. I'm still open for questions or testing people's specific effects if they want.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Someone basically if stuff still works, or if I can do it easier, and some of them are about effects or things that I couldn't do before, and if I can do them now or will be able to do them in the future.
Sure.
So the first one is about the effects that update themselves, because I had to do several of those in Armory. For example, I have an effect that runs all the time. It's called Rune of Fate. I made it that it runs all the time, and when wounds after it runs when taking damage.
Sure.
And there is a statement that if wounds after taking damage would be 0, then damage is negated, so total wound loss equals to 0, and effects disables itself. Basically, delays itself.
Sure.
So the question is if that's still working, or if that can be made easier with.
I don't think anything's really changed there. Like, did you have the effect that you can send or paste somewhere?
Yeah, I can just. It's in Armory, so if you want to download the module or the code.
Sure. So this is a pre-take damage or take damage script?
I'm not sure. I don't have that in the code.
Okay.
Let me.
Orgs.total wound loss would probably indicate take damage, and this would be like on on armor or
on item. Yes, these are runes. So runes
sure.
are added to items. So
sure. So if I do
extra messages we only have in take damage, not pre. So.
Yeah, it's take damage, not pre.
I'm checking.
Because total wound loss, I think it would be take damage. Or no, Rune of Fate. Is that what it was? So, made an effect, Rune of Fate.
Pre-take damage.
Oh, it's pre-take damage?
Yes.
Huh. But it's you said it's after or before negations, like other armor.
It's before. It checks wounds after. So if attack would decrease, wounds after is like current wounds minus the wounds that would be lost to the attack.
Huh.
And if the wounds after the attack would be 0, then it negates the entire attack.
Well, if it's after negations, it should be a take damage.
No, it's before negation.
Oh, before. Okay, cool.
I think I tried to take damage, but it would still hit 0.
Okay, so
It would not modify the wound loss because I'm changing the wound, the actual wound loss.
Gotcha. So pre-take damage, Rune of Fate. I don't think anything's really changed here. Transfer. So if I put this on him, the effect doesn't show because it's not equipped. That's fine. Rune of Fate. So if I attack with this. Actually, what is it? Okay. I don't know if it worked.
I mean, it would need to drop the.
Oh, it needs to drop it to 0.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because it negates the attack that would kill them.
Right. Okay.
It's basically like free fate point or something like that.
Well, I don't think anything's changed there. Like,
okay.
I think that still works just fine. But
But you don't have like built-in anything for like one-time effects that are conditional. So because that effect only wants to run once, so I still need to manually disable it by editing it.
So when it's disabled, it can't be re-enabled. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, no.
It's like a one-time thing.
It's one-time thing, but my module delays the disabled temporary runes by itself.
Gotcha. Well, in that case,
the effect itself just disables itself.
Yeah, in that case, instead of disabling the effect, you want to change the effect type to other. That will basically make it not do anything anymore.
Okay.
And I think that's...
So the effect would still be there, but it would not...
yes, so as you can see, like, document, it's here. When I change it to basically anything other than document, it changes to... It goes away.
Okay.
Yeah. What's that?
Okay, so we want to run and player will be able to see.
Yeah, so, and I think this is literally just object. It's in the flags. It's in application data. Type. Type other.
Okay. So the other time I had to edit the effect. I had to edit the entire script, like everything about the effect. Because it was effect that the player can enable whenever they want, and then the effect trigger was get initiative formula. So when battle starts and the player rolls initiative, the effect would run and then disable itself. so I guess it could be done with different scripts, like you showed. You can have multiple scripts on the effect. Can they be like enabled and disabled separately? If the effect is enabled, all scripts are running.
Yeah, all scripts are going to be running, but I don't know if this would apply. It's not something I've added yet, but so if I add in a script here, there's another trigger called manually invoked, and what I intend for manually invoked is...
Yeah, that script I talked about was manually invoked, and when manually invoked, it would change itself to initiative formula.
Okay, gotcha. Well, manually invoked in this case, I would imagine, when you have manually invoked here, it's going to have a little button for this script specifically to run, and that's how I did it in Imperium Maledictum. I just haven't done it here yet. But for every script that this has that is manually invoked, there's going to be a button. I don't know if it's going to be under this or if it's going to be somewhere here. Because, previously effects could be invoked, but effects themselves don't really have code anymore. It's scripts that have code. So you manually invoke scripts now. If you want to change, if you want this to change another script to be get initiative formula?
Basically, the question is, and that would also work for item, for example, the Storm Lantern. So the item has an effect that has two scripts, and they can be toggled, or one can be enabled or disabled. Alternatively, it could be done with two effects, or the effect that updates itself. So my main question was if the scripts themselves can be enabled or disabled.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few ways to do it. You can have, let me see. Since scripts can't be manually enabled or disabled, perhaps there's a use case for that, but I feel like that should be in the effect itself. I don't know. If you can also perhaps do it in a way where you can have multiple effects here, and each one of these effects is set to other, and then you have some sort of controlling effect that provide a dialogue to select which effect to add, and then you can choose between this effect or this effect, and that one.
Several effects. Okay. So a similar question.
Yeah.
Like effect application, you could change to other, and it wouldn't run on the script. You have the trigger. If it's the null empty.
Yeah.
Then does the script still save?
Um.
In the flags?
Yeah, I think it should. Yeah, I believe so.
So I could use the empty script trigger to disable.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think about that, but sure.
Okay. Yeah, that should probably work.
Yeah. Unless I remove it for some reason. But
I mean, I'm good at debugging and thinking about weird applications of stuff. Most of the time, it breaks stuff.
Sure. Oh, there's.
So
Speaking of debugging, real quick, there's also kind of a nice feature here. If you do config.debug.scripts equals true, now every script will have a breakpoint inside of it. So you don't have to manually. I mean, there might be a lot of scripts in the way of the one you want, but if I do this, yeah, this is the bookish talent, all sorts of things from the dialogue. But
still helpful. Okay, so talents added by effects.
Sure.
I done that several times, and I think there is some effect in your companions that does it. Basically, effect can add a talent temporarily, and when effect is deleted, then talent is also removed.
yeah, conditional items.
Yeah.
I think even earlier today, Des Metroton asked about that in terms of like an item that adds like a skill while you have it equipped but takes it off. So it's similar kind of thing.
Well, adding to a skill is easy. Or did you say adding to or adding a?
Giving a skill.
Oh, giving
you
a
might
skill.
not have.
Yeah,
Similar
that's.
to talent.
Basically just as giving the talent.
Yeah, it's not something I have specifically. I don't think it has any more support currently than it did previously.
Okay, the main thing it didn't have is when item is equipped. So on unequip, it would remove the talent. Basically,
Right.
For example, I have a weapon that gives the talent. Right now, it gives the talent as soon as the actor gets the weapon.
So
Regardless if it's equipped or not equipped.
what I
And you need to delete the weapon to delete the talent. And I would like to have it on equip. When the weapon is equipped, then it gives the talent.
what I think you can do, or if it's not supported currently, it probably can be supported, is, I have on update. This on update script, and if it is assigned to document type item, that means when the item is updated. So like if update is equipped, add talent, else remove talent. I think I doubt that would work currently, but it's definitely something I think I could support. And I believe I haven't actually tested this, but the
And I guess the edge case you'd have to look at with talents and or skills in that case is if it adds something that stacks, that you don't end up removing all the stacks, just the stack that the item applies.
well, yeah. Like if I have bookish 2, that means it has 2 talents.
Yep.
So if a script adds one talent, it shouldn't apply to the rest of the talents. I haven't really tested mutations and what's up?
Every talent is still the separate item, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that shouldn't like mess with the other talents.
Right. So if I add bear.
I'm basically asking about the code like that. It's still the old compendium, but yeah, that's how you showed me. I can.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm testing right now. Because I haven't checked because this byte was added by this effect, this bear head effect. Let me see if removing it, deleting effect items. Yeah. Okay. So that still works. So. Okay, what bear head? So let me see. If I open this, no, I need the effect. Bear head effect. Okay. UI.active window object. So this is the bear head effect. Delete created items. So basically, if not equipped, delete created items. If equipped, add them like you just posted in your script.
Okay. Is there any chance for it to be automated? For example, I mean, when the items are unequipped, run it.
So you mean like? Well, I think that would probably call for.
I mean, when the effect itself is applied. I mean.
So that would probably be
on
like an add items trigger, and there's like an option that says delete items when unequipped or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly.
Basically, to run that effect when only when the item is equipped. So,
yeah.
Because
I feel like that's possible.
Have to, because there are effects on update, right? On item update.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Where it's not here.
Yeah,
But he's asking for more specific automation for it.
Yeah, because I guess I could automate it myself, but like built-in automation would not only be like easier for us, but it would be more consistent, I think.
Yeah, it's something to consider.
Yeah, okay.
Cause yeah.
But at least it's possible now to automate it myself, because before it wasn't.
Yeah.
Something I could do inside the effect. I would need to external code. I can do it inside the effect, right?
Yeah. I just think, yeah, I'll have to toy around with specific settings on the scripts to see if I can support that, but no promises. But I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Because it should be fairly easy with create or delete created items and just creating them manually. But yeah, if it's because there's a lot of items out there that do that, so it would be good to have, I suppose. And side note, we won't need these duplicate effects anymore, because well, you can just add another script, which is nice.
Okay, another thing. I don't remember now which way it was. It was either when I'm attacking, I want to yeah, I think it's when attacking, I want to temporarily change armor traits or values on the defending party, but only for that single attack or something like that. Basically, I think I don't remember which way was it, but I think it was on stuff like take damage or something like that, which runs on the receiving party. But I would like to use an effect from the attacking party. I don't know. I don't remember the exact use case, because I don't have it saved. Because it was not possible right then.
So you want to
what exactly it was?
You want to ignore certain armor properties from the.
Yes. Yes. For example, I'm shooting, and weapon has an effect that ignores some types of armor. For example.
Gotcha.
So can that be possible? And the other thing, for example, when I'm defending, I want to ignore certain types of ammunition. And I think the second one was possible, the first one wasn't, or the other way.
Well, this AP object is in the pre-damage args.
Yeah, but it's like calculate total AP without like.
So are you looking at something where it's like if it was leather armor,
for example, yeah
versus a plate armor kind of thing, right? Yes. So the actual armor type versus the AP value. Right?
Yes, armor types or armor traits. For example, if it's if armor has weak points, then something. So basically, properties of armor as well.
I mean, you can. I mean, the same way, like you can. I mean, this is kind of cumbersome, but you can loop through AP layers and look for weak points, look for metal.
Oh, yeah. So it has. So the AP is like the all layers. Okay.
AP has pretty much everything you need. Yeah, it's cumbersome because it has to look at each layer, which sucks. But perhaps that could be made easier, but I still think it's possible. And with the reverse, yeah, so weapon properties is given to the damage args, and you can modify them however you want. And after these run, that's when they're taken here and considered. So if you remove penetrating here, it's not going to see penetrating.
Okay, I don't remember now that weapon properties has like category of weapon or category of ammunition.
Well, like no, that would be in the item itself. So the post test .attacker test .item.
Okay.
And then you can look at weapon type or whatever.
So is everything there? Okay. So I guess I didn't look hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, basically everything, most things regarding script arguments, they haven't changed because that's going to break everything. I mean, I'd like to change probably some of them, but I don't think I'm going to.
You can always add new.
Yeah.
More stuff, if that makes sense. Okay. So, area of effects. You showed earlier an area of effect.
Sure.
That affects everyone that went inside it.
Right.
Is it possible to have an effect that affects everyone around the actor all the time without placing marker?
Well, yeah, that would be the aura.
Auras,
yeah.
Auras.
So if I think the only one I really have is distracting right now. Is an aura type. It affects actors. The radius is your toughness. And if I add this here, what's his toughness? His toughness is a lot. So if I move closer to him,
okay. So on the that only affects when the enemy also moves inside the range.
Yeah.
Or outside the range.
Yeah.
Okay. So a similar effect that can be, for example, invoked and creates effect on everybody in range. Would that be possible to do?
So, like,
for example, I want to, for example, use item that affects everyone in like 15 yards radius, and that's regardless if they leave the range or not. It's like use item, affect everybody around.
So
by creating effect on them.
Yeah. So what you want?
Would that be possible with built-in, or would that require the
so it's like it's an instantaneous aura that only applies once to everyone around you and then goes away.
And it stays for several
Okay.
rounds or something.
Well, okay, so
it creates effects on them that stay.
So like an AOE effect, except that it applies even if they leave the AOE after.
Yes.
but they can enter it later on?
Like it's a one shot AOE kind of thing, or are you looking more permanent?
Let me check.
Well, I mean, regardless, let me see.
No, it's. I mean, the area is instantaneous, so
Okay.
everyone in the area gets effect, and then the area itself disappears.
So, what you want there is aura, and where? Oh no, it's area. You want area of effect. Area type is instantaneous versus sustained. So,
Okay.
instantaneous is once, and it's done. Sustained is, I think, like this, where they go into it and it's there. But also, if you want sustained and keep, that means they can enter it and then leave and they'll still have it.
So something where they enter an area effect, they catch fire, and even though they
Yeah,
blaze,
exactly.
blaze condition when they leave, right? Yeah.
And the effect they get is this effect that I'm editing right now, or is it something that scripts add?
No, it's. You mean like if
if they get the data that you are editing right now.
Yeah.
For example. Okay.
You get this whole thing. Remember this.
Okay, so everything that's under the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the scripts, all that is applied to the to them.
Yeah, scripts are just what the effect does. This is just how it moves around.
Okay. That will definitely help because I had so much area of effect or aura ideas for runes that I couldn't really do.
Yeah, and areas, I mean, they probably have the most bugs just because, like, auras especially, because, like, you can also have a targeted aura, so, like, you can apply a effect to somebody else that's an aura, and it, like, if you want to have a penalty to everyone around that target as well, then that's what you want, a targeted aura. Or if you want to do an aura, but it's like an activated aura, so it's not around all the time. You want targeted aura, and you just target yourself. Because auras are always active, no matter what, unless it's a targeted aura. And there's also another small thing I haven't even really tested this that much, but if I have a target, a void test, you can do a custom avoid test, when this effect is applied to them, they'll perform this test, and if they succeed, it doesn't apply. Or you can do something specific, like a script, and you can add a script here, like if the target... What?
Can it be scripted make an opposed test?
Well, yeah, so let me see. Custom, if you click this opposed, that means it will oppose the origin test of the effect, which means you have to get higher than the origin test, if you know what I mean. If that makes sense. Like if they cast a spell, and they got 3 SL, and this opposed button is checked, and you're resisting effect from that spell, you need to get 3 or above, or maybe above 3, I don't remember, for it to work, for it to be prevented.
So on weapon attack, it would count my my test for weapon roll?
Yeah, so if opposed is checked, and you succeed the test, but you still fail compared to the opposed test, this effect will be applied. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
not exactly what I'm looking for because I'm looking for the more like separate opposed test, but I guess that can be done with script.
Yeah, that could probably be done. This is opposed effect thing isn't really a thing that much in WFRP. This was a thing from Imperium Maledictum that I just carried over. So I might just remove it.
What I'm thinking about is I have one rune in my module that says that when I win opposed melee test, so when I win the attack,
yeah.
I can also perform strength opposed test against the enemy. If I win, then I break their weapon.
Oh, gotcha.
Probably doesn't make sense with strength and stuff like that, but
I mean, you can.
It's other opposed test that does other thing. So I guess that could be done with the script.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like like roll weapon test if you actually.
The part of what you're saying is it triggers another opposed test.
Right. Opposed, like you do.
It doesn't, but I can make it myself.
You can do opposed attacker, and then if you succeeded, just fire off another test. And possibly targeting the other actor. I don't know.
So that's something I always had a question about. Is it possible to trigger opposed test and wait for it to finish? Because like opposed test is several chat messages and stuff like that. So I always wondered if
I don't
programmatically wait for the opposed test.
I don't believe there is a way if you want to start an opposed test and wait until the response comes. I don't think there's a way to do that currently. But
so maybe is there a way to carry a callback or something to the end of the test?
Or trigger on a success or something like that? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay, I will test it.
Yeah, it's might be worth exploring, but
I think I sent a pull request earlier, but it's obsolete right now.
Yeah.
To make an away table test request to players, and with that I was able to do something like you're saying. So on end of one opposed test, automatically start another one, and based on those effects do something.
Yeah. The entire awaitable socket thing isn't in this yet, but certainly you can make a pull request, or I can do it as well.
I think once I will go through your changes and merge it with mine, I probably just recreate that.
Yeah, because I mean, awaitable sockets should be pretty easy to put back in. But there's that issue with Firefox that is annoying, but because apparently the
Firefox doesn't support like a lot of JavaScript stuff. So
yeah, it was just the CSS class what was it? We were hiding chat messages for the acknowledgement, but it didn't work in Firefox. So
I just put something that I did exactly for the case that you're saying, and it's for opposed defender test to run something.
Okay. Last question. I think it's still not in, but if it's even possible, effects that it's an entire conversation about damage calculation, which I know you love. There is a specific like my question about effects, because effects can add SL, they can add damage and stuff like that. Is it possible for you to do that whenever the final results of the opposed test come in and you click apply damage, you get like what was reduced by toughness bonus and stuff like that? Is it possible to have it also information that one damage was added by this effect, the other damage was added by this effect.
Yeah, I mean, there's an old...
Or SL added by this. Basically, whenever something adds SL or damage, then it's automatically added to the description.
Yeah, I mean, there's an old... Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. Issues...
That would also help with a lot of people having questions why damage equals...
Yeah, it's something that's...
Especially with like damaging impact and all
There's an issue somewhere that I don't know the keywords for, but yeah, I mean, I would like to add breakdowns of everything in a chat message. Yeah, here it is.
They can even be on hover or something like that.
Yeah, breakdown of roles, you know, figure out how this gets calculated. But it's just something
I also mentioned, yes.
Oh, yeah, it's something I want to do, but it's something I know it's going to be a pain in the ass, and I just haven't committed to it yet. But so what's actually really helpful, this is mainly for the dialogue, but I think it could be extended to use for anything else. So I have, let me see, system, apps, role dialogue. So all the role dialogues have a lot of functionality now, as I showed before. But what they have is these dialogue tooltip, this dialogue tooltip class. And what this can do is, you know, as a weapon, you know, as it adds range modifiers, you know, this stuff fields.modifier plus equals range mod. In the tooltips, you can add a modifier. You can add the amount and the label. But what's really useful is you don't have to do it specifically like that. If I look at, where is it? Just rule dialogue. So this tooltip start, you give the dialogue as a whole, it will record the values. You execute the script, then you call finish with a label, then it will measure the difference in values, and that's your new tooltip. That's how it figures out what's what in terms of.
Practically, that's something I would like to have with SL and damage.
Yeah, and I feel like
at least for the effects, because with stuff like damaging and other things, my players are used to it, but. With effect, they never know if the damage from effect was applied or not. So even for effects, that would be nice.
Yeah, I feel like it could be extended into that, but that will just have to be more work later down the line to see if it works. But yeah, it's something I want to do.
So that's something I would like to request. Also, if we are talking about there are tooltips. They also were displaying on the chat messages, but I noticed, and I think I created an issue about it, that only masters see it, and players don't. So that's change, or?
I'm not sure. Yeah, right now those don't exist, but I definitely plan on adding them back. Okay. But as far as players, I mean, they should probably at least see their own.
Mainly their own. Yeah, that was what I want.
But yeah, I feel like that's something.
My range player sometimes was confused if the range was calculated correctly after rolling, and I could see that they couldn't.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like that could be something when I add the things back. Yeah, it could be done. I mean, Silent.
Most of my questions.
Silent Mark added that. I don't know if there's a reason why you chose for not to show it to players, but I don't know. Just discuss.
I also don't know.
Yeah, that's.
But I'm mostly a game master, so I didn't really care.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, screw the players. Screw those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, amount of times when I'm transparent. Yeah, it's work. It works. Let's ship it. And then people are like, my players can work.
Yeah, that's something also that's why I mentioned like auras might be really buggy because if a player's moving around and they have an aura, they've got to apply their effect to a ton of shit that they probably don't have access to. That's all sort of handled by the apply effect function. So you can give this UUIDs for the effect. You can give it straight effect data and also message data if it's from a test. And so it's going to check if it's the owning user.
And would you consider effects that can be only run as in context of a game master? Some sort of checkbox on the effect or script level.
Do you have a use case? Because I'm not sure I understand.
Well, the one use case that I had, there's a rule for black powder weapons. When you fire at target, it has to pass a cool test or gets a broken condition. Right? So that kind of effect cannot be actually fully run if you're not owner of the target, because you cannot apply.
Well, so that's going to be handled by.
Yeah, but I think the question is if you can make that effect only run if Game Master is online. So if the Game Master is not online, then the effect doesn't run.
Yeah, a lot of shit will break if the Game Master isn't online, but which I don't care about because that's not a use case I really care to cater to because it doesn't make sense. But so imagine if you shoot something with black powder, that's going to apply an effect that calls for a test, and if that test fails, it adds broken or whatever. So what's going to happen in that case is it's going to go through apply effect. It's going to figure out that the owning user is the GM, and so it's going to call the socket instead, which
yes, but the effect probably will be run on a role test. So, right?
Isn't it? Yeah, on the roll. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so it will be connected to the weapon of the player.
Sure.
For example, and in context of player, it will be run.
Well, no, it's going to. Like I imagine. I'm not sure if this is how it's going to... Like, I'm not going to add this effect to every single black powder. It might be a built-in thing, but, black powder...
I would have to check how I did this on which...
it's an item effect, and the item... And it happens whenever... roll weapon test. Alright, so
okay, so yeah, I did it on the roll weapon test.
So let's see. We want to
maybe I could do it on opposed something.
Possibly, but I mean what you can do is yeah, it's kind of weird. Because what I would want to do, what was that?
I think can you just use avoid test for the black powder?
Oh, well, avoid. Yeah, I suppose.
And then
so
the script trigger would be immediate.
How much broken conditions do you get?
I think one.
So rx.add condition.
I think you cannot have more than one.
No, it's a stackable one.
Yeah, broken is stackable.
Yeah.
You just get really broken.
Yeah. So in general, it's stackable, but in context of this case, you just get one.
Yeah. So this actor.add condition.
Fear is not stackable. Okay, I always confuse them.
So yeah, add condition broken. And if I go to avoid test, what's the test? Challenging.
Cool.
Cool. I think that's all I need. And it should be a target and actor. So if I use this pistol, now it isn't automatic in the sense of it doesn't automatically prompt for the test. No ammo, but I think that's okay because if you shoot a demon, you don't want that to automatically run because you're just going to ignore it. You don't want to. So apply black powder, runs this cool test, fails, and you're good. So I think that's a decent solution.
This was one case that I had, but in general, maybe there might be some others.
Yeah.
I can't. As you mentioned, the auras could be potentially something.
This could also apply to damage, but
it definitely seems a lot more robust, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. It's just, I mean, well, when did I do this? This was like 2 years ago at this point, was when I first did the effects. And it was just sort of me experimenting with, having code within these items. And it was a bit of a hot mess, but it seemed to work pretty well. And I've sort of evolved it in the other systems since then, and now I want to bring it back to where it was before, or to update this into bring it into modern standards. Because, I mean, one of the main things I did for other systems are these dialogue effects, and in WFRP they kind of sucked because you had to click on them every time. But now it's all handled for you mostly, which I'm sure a lot of people will like. Because I know people have wanted to not click on their instinctive diction every time they roll.
Huzzah, I say. Huzzah.
Yeah.
It's also funny that you say that it was a mess, the effect system was a mess. It kind of was, but what's funny is that every other system creator in Foundry community that learned about it was amazed.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have no idea how sad it is to change system and not having that.
Yeah, it's certainly I think a unique feature. I mean, Crucible does it now, which I thought was funny. But
they see good stuff and they use it. That's like normal. And for 5e, I guess the entire dynamic active effects is basically them trying to do what you are doing.
Yeah, I feel like they do it. Like, I feel like simply having code is a sloppy solution. It is a flexible solution, but it is arcane. Nobody, unless they know how to code, really knows what to do here. But it is the ultimate a flexible option. You can do whatever you want.
And it doesn't break with every module that tries to.
That is true. Yeah, it's sort of. Well, I mean, WFRP doesn't have nearly as many modules as D&D 5e, but
amount of people that have issues with my modules, for example, mostly the item macro, which isn't really my module, but whatever. The amount of people that have issues with it that are caused by dynamic active effects, or people have issues with other modules because of DAE.
right.
It's staggering because not every module creator even understands DAE. I try to look at it, but it's way more complicated to me than what you did.
Yeah,
it's not even as flexible because it doesn't allow it.
I mean, the 5e module landscape is gigantic and wild, but that's just comes with the territory of it being the most popular system on Foundry. But oh yeah, here it is. I called it the Storm of Chaos. And this was what, wow, almost 3 years ago. Oh, that was a long time ago. But anyway, I think that's mostly it, unless there's any other questions. I'll end the stream pretty soon. It's almost 2 hours? That seems fair.
Only more.
There's a lot of migration work to do, and so it probably won't see this for a while, but you're free to download. What's up?
I wish I had more questions.
Oh yeah.
Because I will definitely have them later.
Oh, they're coming. Don't worry. They'll be there.
I mean, you're free to ask them afterwards, but you're free to download this as well. It probably doesn't work nicely with existing worlds, so I would recommend a separate world for it because, as I said, you're going to get duplicated effects here, but that's fine.
I think the armor itself won't be affected as much.
Your module?
The foreign armory, and I guess because there will be some automatic migration from your side, I guess, and I think it should handle all of my runes. The module I will need to rewrite is the token action hub.
Right.
It allows for players to use their healing potions and stuff like that. So
yep, potions aren't anything I've dealt with, and I haven't really decided how I'm going to, so probably just wait on that. But
I can mess around with that, and if I find something that works, I can send you the code.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, there is also stuff that players or GMs can use traits that can be invoked, like fear and stuff like that. So everything would need to be adjusted.
Yeah.
I will definitely want to have heads up when the new version is released, so we can update the token action hub in the same day.
Yeah, I'll certainly
doesn't break.
Provide some headway in terms of release versus, I guess, I'll tell y'all when it's ready to be tested, and you can do that, and then I can release it.
Cool. And I'll create a new world with this version and start prepping, because you covered a lot of the stuff in the community kind of effects stuff that I gathered, which is really cool. I felt like it was useful because you were able to use it as a guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll just kind of go through the stream because you've got it on YouTube, so it should be up there. I'll just kind of go through and update it to have like a this version, post that version kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Feel free to let me know if anything confuses you or you have any other questions, because I didn't go through all of them, but
yeah. But at least get started on that, because I mean, you said it's going to be a little while before it's out, so there's plenty of time. But I think it's awesome, and as always, pretty sure I can speak for everyone here. You always do awesome work. Great job.
Yeah, well,
I always post all the time. I swore never to buy a book twice, ever.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. I
do.
I used to feel the same way. I never wanted to buy things multiple times, but putting this stuff in is a lot of work, more so than other systems, because you have to code every single thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate that, and it certainly makes my life easier. I mean, I ran a game for my kids and a few friends earlier. I wouldn't be able to do it without all the work you do, so I just want to vocally voice my appreciation for all the hard work you do. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks. I do my best when I can, but hopefully, well, I won't get into too much of off-topic stuff, but
not the contract shit.
Yeah.
Shakes fist.
Yeah, well, yeah, currently everything's at a standstill right now, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead in the stream. Thank you all for watching. It might have been boring for some. That is okay. It was not meant to be anything but that. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. That's what people say usually. All right.